Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, for those of you joining for the first time today. All right, guys, good to be back again, 2 weeks in a row. Whoop, whoop. All right, we've talked about a lot of the stuff about AMC. We've talked about failure to delivers. We've talked about dark pools, naked shorts. We've talked about all of it. Today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of that. We're going to show real numbers that prove the manipulation that's going on in AMC. And we're going to look at some tactics that hedge funds, market makers use to make this happen. Okay. From failure to delivers to off exchange trading, I'm going to dive into this and we're going to see the manipulation that's constantly happening in AMC. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you my take on Thunderbolts. I went and saw it last night with my daughter, and I wanted to share with you guys what I thought about it. First, let's talk about failure to delivers, okay? Failure to delivers are shares that were sold but never delivered, okay? So you buy a share and it was never delivered, and it's supposed to be delivered within the settlement date, which is usually 2 business days after the trade happens. All right. So looking back at January 2025, there was an average of 32,500 shares per day that failed to deliver. And then in February, 34,200 shares per day that failed to deliver. And like we talked about in the video last week, there were 35,930 shares per day that failed to deliver. The numbers aren't normal, they're synthetic. Okay. When failure to delivers are this high, they often lead to they point to the fact that it's being naked short sold, right? That's what it is. It's when shares are being sold without being borrowed first, right? We've talked about this in the past. We've gone over it. I just wanted to talk. I want to talk about it all the time because it's important to get this message out there so that everybody can hear it. Most of us are diamond hands. Most of us have been here for a long time. There are still some new people in this trade that might not know what's going on, but they, for some reason, they're wanting to be here. They see that there's potential, and I'm hoping that we can continue to shed light on that. Okay, when the trades aren't resolved, they become synthetic shares, right? So naked short selling, failure to deliver, they become the naked shares that were never issued by the stock. So it causes dilution. It increases the supply and it suppresses the price artificially. And that's what's happening when these shares continue to become FTDs. Okay. All right. Dark pools and off exchange trades. Have you ever wondered why AMC price doesn't move even when they're trading millions of shares, right? Like we know there's hundreds of millions of shares that are being traded, but even on a smaller level, when 6 million shares are being traded, or 11 or 12 or 100 million or whatever, we see it all the time in AMC that the price doesn't reflect the volume that's happening. Okay? It's because of massive amounts of those trades aren't happening on the public exchange. They're happening in dark pools. Dark pools are private trading venues that allow big players to move shares around without reflecting in the price. Okay? It just doesn't show up. And so these people are able to move these shares in a massive way but never see the price change at all. On April 22nd of 2025, AMC traded 6.93 million shares and the price moved 1.12%. These aren't large amounts. I'm not saying this is crazy. I'm just giving you some numbers, okay? But then just 3 days later, on April 25th, there were 5.5 million shares traded, but the price stayed steady. So when you see a similar volume being traded, and one day the price moves up by 1.212%, and then the same amount of shares are traded ish, and the price stays still, you know that something's happening, and most likely that's caused by dark pools, right? And it means that most of the trading is just being hidden from us, okay? On May 1st, over 65% of AMC's volume happened off exchange. Let's connect the dots a little bit when we're talking about this, and we're going to look at synthetic shares and ladder attacks, right? So because they correlate, okay? When FTDs stack up, they create synthetic shares, and then they are traded, but they're not issued by AMC. Then comes the short ladder attack, which is a group of sellers are trading back and forth with each other at slowly lower prices. The thing is this is making it look like there's a lot of selling volume, and it creates the illusion of real selling pressure, which then drives the price down, right? Like it if the shares are being sold back and forth at a lower price, it makes it look like more people are selling than really are, and so it drives the price down. Now, this does a few things, okay? It it triggers stop losses. So if you have stop losses on AMC, take it off, because we're not in this for the short term. We're in this for a squeeze play. We're not here to sell our shares. So if you have stop losses, take them off. Not financial advice. Stop losses are great in other areas of trading because it allows you to take the risk without a massive amount of risk. And if you want to get into a stock and you don't want to lose a ton of money, you set a stop loss, and then you can recoup, you can buy back in when it's lower and then ride it back up. You know how it works. But in AMC, that's not what this trade is about, right? So because many of these shares that are being traded back and forth by the hedgies and market makers, they're synthetic shares. So it's fake shares being traded back and forth to drop the price using these ladder attacks. All right. One of the biggest problems, one of the biggest problems that we all have had since the beginning is that the SEC is virtually doing nothing. They're supposed to be the watchdog. They're supposed to be the ones that are protecting retail, that are protecting the market integrity, but they don't. When it counts, they disappear, okay? Take Reg SHO, for instance. It's a rule that says that short sellers have to locate the shares before they short them. And the persistence of the FTDs, they just show that it doesn't happen. The stock gets put on threshold list and then it's supposed to be covered later. But AMC has millions of FTDs that the SEC is not enforcing because they're not enforcing this rule. We've talked about it a long time. Gary Gensler has been doing a terrible job. He had been doing a terrible job, and they continue to do this all the time, right? Even worse, market makers are allowed to short without borrowing shares at all because they claim it's just for finding liquidity. Okay. And that allows them to do this in this loophole that's become a free pass for manipulation for them. And no one's stopping it. Okay. But what have we been talking about for years now? They're just digging their hole deeper. The more synthetic shares that they create, the more that naked shares that are in the market, the more they're going to have to buy back when MOASS happens. And it's going to cause it to jump up way higher. That's the whole point, guys. The whole point is that they're suppressing this because they know that they're screwed. They know that they are continuing to dig their hole deeper and deeper, and so they're stuck because they're using synthetic shares and they're just trading back and forth with each other. It's not really costing them a lot of money right now to do that, and that's what we need to stop. The more that we get the word out there, and the more that we stay going through this, it is only going to help, right? What they didn't count on, what none of the hedge funds, what none of the market makers, what none of the people on mainstream media that are saying how bad of a stock AMC is didn't count on is that we wouldn't sell our shares, right? Which is why we still own the float. We got this, guys. There's no reason that we need to worry about this, okay? Guys, the manipulation is real. It's constant. It's continuing to happen day to day. April numbers aren't going to come out until the middle of May. So when that happens, we'll probably talk about it then. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like and subscribe button to get more updates from me so that you can see more about what these different things are. We're going to take a deeper dive into synthetic shares, into failures to delivers, into dark pools, And if there's anything else that you want me to make a video about, comment it on, put a comment in the comment section and I'll address it. Okay. All right. Thunderbolts. Last night went and saw Thunderbolts with my daughter, and guys, it was awesome. Okay. There's I feel like there was a letdown in some of the Marvel movies in like the recent past. This movie was fantastic. It brought so much to the table, and it really made me look forward to what is gonna happen in the future for Marvel. Okay. It got like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. The only movie that did better than that was Endgame, right? And guys, it really held up to that. I would 100% see it again in the theaters. I probably will. When I bought the tickets, the only seats I could get were pretty close to the front, and I'd like to see it further back in the theater, especially in the AMC theaters where you get to lean back in your chair and you get to see the whole screen. It's fantastic going to the AMC theaters to watch these movies. Go out there, see the movie, tell me what you think about it. I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that watching the fight scenes in the movie, there was an immense amount of comedy, and just the storyline is continuing to grow and continuing to get better. Guys, I hope that we can continue to be in this together. We're not selling. We know that we're diamond hands. We know that we're the apes that are still behind this, and we're not going anywhere. Stay positive, stay motivated, stay motivating, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.